Death is probably one of the hardest subjects to approach a child with. Death is an unescapable part of life, and children do want to understand it. They will find ways to grieve, and they want to grieve, and they want it to feel natural. At some point, kids are starting to get curious and will understand that death is permanent. That is why there are several pieces of literature out there to help children and teens understand and cope with the big subject. I found 5 books that were specifically good for this topic, but not necessarily all positive and strong to help the situation. The first book I found was called When Dinosaurs Die. It's a guide to help children understand death. It's written by Lori Brown, and it's more specifically meant for the ages of 4 to 8. This book is a way that uses simple language and feelings that people may have regarding the topic of death and what happens when a loved one dies. And it's a more loving and caring way that the child can understand it, and uses parents and grandfathers that died, that we should remember them, and that it is important that even after death to carry on, the love and whatnot. It is a balanced and comprehensive, age appropriate book. It is a thorough explanation of death and the emotional aftermath, like I said before, that comes after it. Another book is called Death is Hard to Live With. This book is written by Janet Broad, and it is more specifically for the ages of 12 and up. For teens, basically, because it uses teens' experiences of their own death and loss of loved ones to relay the message through the book. It would be easier for a a teenager to comprehend and understand what is going on rather than a child. And it is relatable and personable because it uses another teenager's experiences. So maybe the person that is reading it could be going through the same thing and learn how to cope with it. Another book is called Straight Talk About Death for Teenagers. It's basically how to cope with losing someone they love. It's written by Earl Grauman, and it also is more specifically for teenagers, 12 and up. But yes, the book is a little outdated, but still relevant, as it was published in 1993. The words are a little old and whatnot, but since it is for teenagers, they would still be able to understand the point and realize that when a friend or relative dies, it explains what to expect. It is a good guide, and I would recommend it. It uses all the talking, crying, and going nuts into one. It expresses how to take all those things, put it together, and grieve, as it is a good thing. Another book is called The Kid's Book About Death and Dying. Now, this book is written by Eric Rose, but it is published in 1985, and I would not find it relevant to today and that a child would be able to use the book. Because it was meant for younger children, ages 5 to about 12, they would not understand the older language, and it is more simpler and not appealing to their nature. It does describe what is death and what it is like when a friend or relative dies, and possibly is there an aftermath or an afterlife. That's the whole book itself, but I would not highly recommend it. The last book is called When a Parent is Very Sick. This is by Ida LeSean, and it is for children of any ages, possibly 4 to 12. It's for anyone who can basically understand simple topics. And it introduces the feelings and incidents that might occur when a parent gets very sick and what's to come of it, because they could eventually die. So it prepares and unawares a child of what it's going to affect and how it's going to affect them and possibly even the rest of their family. And it does suggest ways to deal with the situation. And this book is outdated as well because it was published in 1987, but it is still relevant to current days, and it is simple enough that a child of current times would still understand it and know what's going on.